This is Covering the Spread, part of the FanDuel Podcast Network.
We have got a good one on tap for Saturday. We finally get to see the rematch between journalism and sovereignty this year. It's going to be at the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga Raceway. And who better to break down the rematch between those two fantastic horses than Dubs Anderson of FanDuel TV. He is here today to break down his thoughts on both those horses, who will come out on top, and his favorite bets for Saratoga this weekend. Welcome on into Covering the Spread, a FanDuel Research podcast. My name is Jim Sonis. I am a managing editor for FanDuel Research, joined here, as mentioned, by Dubs Anderson. Check him out on X at Mr. Dubsy. Check out his work at FanDuel Racing and FanDuel TV as well, where he is an on-air host and analyst. Dubs, happy Belmont week to you. How you doing today?
Good. Great to catch up with you, Jim. And truly is one of the biggest weeks in the sport of racing. It's sport in general, the third jewel of racing's Triple Crown. And we're not going to have a Triple Crown winner this year, but we certainly have the next best thing in line, a rematch for the ages. The Kentucky Derby champion in Sovereignty makes that return. And then we've got Preakness winner in journalism looking to write that script. So some of the star 3-year-olds in the division, not at Belmont. Belmont Stakes will be run at Saratoga out at the Spa. So it's a storied venue with plenty of history and prestige, but looks a little differently coming in to Saturday, back at the distance of 1.25 miles.
And we'll break down the impact of that with Dubs today, what that means that they're at Saratoga once again for the second consecutive year, his view, his handicap of journalism versus sovereignty part 2, and which horses he is eyeing for this weekend out at Saratoga. But first, a reminder to make sure you're subscribed to Covering the Spread wherever you get your podcast. If you want to break down the NBA Finals, talk to Annie Nader of FanDuel Research yesterday here on the show to get her read on the series prices in Game 1, of course, as well. That is up on the feed. Next week, we're going to talk about the U.S. Open. Dubs, I'm sure, will be locked in for that as well, as that should be a fun one, too. So a lot of good stuff here on the Covering the Spread podcast feed. Make sure you're subscribed there, but also check out the FanDuel YouTube page where this show is up there. If you're watching on the FanDuel YouTube page right now, leave us a thumbs up. We appreciate those of you watching, and make sure you are subscribed as well. FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props, and now you can make the smarter play with new performance trends. Want to see if a guy's hitting that over consistently, or maybe they've been flirting with a triple-double? Get the latest stats right inside the app, and you can see who is heating up. And once the games start, that's when things get interesting. You can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. If you don't already have FanDuel, it's not too late to get in on the action. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-79-7777 or visit ccpg.org/Chan, Connecticut. Visit M&D Gambling Help.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit Gambling Helpline ma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Now, Dubs, you alluded to this, but this race will once again be run at Saratoga Race Course this year as opposed to Belmont Park, undergoing renovations down there. So what are the key characteristics we should know about Saratoga before placing wagers for this weekend?
I think it's going to favor the front runners. I think that early speed has a really good chance to prevail late. We started the week sitting right around 50% chance of showers. I'm seeing that number a little closer to 35%. So I think weather could be a factor, and with that, you got to get out from the starting breaks and really look to book it going through first call there. You look at this field, there are a couple of early speed types, so I think we'll benefit from that. You look at the big contenders back at the distance of 1.25 miles, and just having the field of 8 runners, I think this is a race where the cream should rise to the top. Every puncher is going to get their chance from the jump, but it's going to be critical in that first furlong in trying to at least get on the lead, near the lead, and trying to set up for success. If we get a little bit more rain than as expected coming through. You're going to be right there trying to stick with the front runners if you want to be a factor late in this one.
Now, you mentioned the 8-horse field. So let's take a look here at the post draw, which took place earlier on this week. Again, only 8 horses in the field. With so few horses, how much does the post draw matter to you, if at all, for this week?
I don't think it's going to be as crucial as what we saw in the Kentucky Derby. There's a field of 20. They've now had maybe a start or two extra from what we saw on the first Saturday in May. So I think every horse is really going to get a good shot of this one. In terms of who's going to benefit from it, Sovereignty, who relished in the conditions out there at Churchill Downs. If we get a bit of rain, Sovereignty's going to benefit from it. Starting from that 2-hole, having that late charge, sort of more sustained run style, I think Sovereignty can have that ability to save a bit of ground. You look from the inside, Hill Road, really not a lot of early speed or buzz. We saw that from the Peter Pan, likes to come with a closing kick. So I think Sovereignty is going to get a nice looking trip. In terms of where the early speed is going to be coming from, Rodriguez and Crudo look to have it. I expect these two to be battling it out on the front end. And I think Rodriguez is a very intriguing play here for trainer Bob Baffert. When we talk about the big conditioners, it's journalism with Michael McCarthy. They're having a fantastic run of it for this year. It's Belmont who chose not to put Sovereignty into the Preakness and come into this race well rested. This is a very clear game plan from one of the best conditioners. But when we speak about the best of the best, it was 10 years ago to this week that American Pharoah got the Triple Crown. Well, I think Bob Baffert's got a live one in Rodriguez, the 3, having that early speed and returning well rested off that bruise concern. That's going to be the front run, and I think could be the horse to catch.
Rodriguez is 6-1 on the morning line. All right, Dubs, let's not bury the lead anymore. Let's talk about it. Sovereignty versus journalism. We get to see the rematch here after we saw Sovereignty emerge in the Kentucky Derby, journalism winning at the Preakness. Who to you as the edge? We get things set up here for the Belmont Stakes. What's your handicap of those two horses?
It's tough in trying to split the two. You look at their race resumes, very similar. Sovereignty comes in well rested. That last race in the Kentucky Derby, so has been on the sidelines, has that late kick, certainly going to be a big factor and gets to benefit from that starting position. But then you look at journalism, who's the hot hand at the table, keeps showing up, keeps racing. This is going to be the third race in the span of a 5 weeks and really making every start a winner. You look at that last race in the Preakness, had to overcome a lot of adversity, had to show us a lot of grit, a lot of moxie just to get back into the race and then still blitzed him. So for me, the question mark behind journalism is going to be the fitness. Could there be a bounce looming? At what point does it catch up for this star 3-year-old? It's been a lot of racing for the year, and that could be the concern for Sovereignty. How much gas did we expand in the running of the Kentucky Derby? It's never easy coming back that first race after picking up the first jewel of the Triple Crown there. So they're the concerns for me, are the big contenders. If you're looking in terms of who's going to split the two, journalism, just because of that recency bias, having that ability to take it on the road, can go after it on the front end, can be quite tactical as well. So if you had to split the two, I think journalism booked at 8-5 as the morning light favorite. That's spot on. I think journalism probably just has the slight edge over Sovereignty because we've had that recent experience and that recent win. I think the bettors will lean into that as well. In terms of how do we play it, I really do think the two, heavyweights, if you will, are going to have to come up with their best. These are 3-year-olds. For some of these horses, there's very, very, big possibility that we haven't seen that top gear or that top ceiling. So I think this could be a nice race in trying to play against the two big favorites. You highlighted that third price in the betting. Rodriguez is at 6-1. I'd be starting there. You look at Crudo, early speed, could run a big race to finish in the minors. Journalism and Sovereignty, off their class alone, they're going to finish in the top half of the field. If you're looking to craft up, some exotic wagers, you've got to use them on your tries, on your supers, but do not be shocked come Saturday afternoon when we've got a runner outside of these two big names in the sport that could be lifting the trophy out there for this year's running of the Belmont Stakes.
Now, Dudson, we had Christina Blacker on heading into the Derby. She mentioned that she thought that Sovereignty would lengthen throughout the day on Saturday because we're going to see a lot of attention on other horses in the field. And that did happen. You actually got a pretty good number on Sovereignty by the end of the day. And it sounds like for this field, you're kind of expecting all the focus to be on those big two, being on journalism, being on Sovereignty. Is that kind of how you expect things to play out? Or do you think that the morning line odds are pretty much where we'll see things settle in on Saturday once we get these horses deposed?
I think the morning line's spot on. I think the Bob
Okay.
Baffert runner, Rodriguez, will see a bit of attention. You look back to what we did see in the Kentucky Derby, who was making a run for home, Baeza, who will start from that 6 hole for John Sheriff's. And I think this is another runner that's going to be a big factor in this race. I don't project Baeza to go forward early, but if we can just find, a little pocket trip, 1 or 2 back, watch out for Baeza. You go watch that Derby back. That final furlong was coming with a big run.
Yeah.
Ends up taking third, third position, pretty impressive. If that's the best we've seen, not going to be good enough. But if we can just take another forward step, watch out for Baeza. That's the great thing about this puzzle, Jim. They're 3-year-olds. It's their first, second season of racing. It's just still the great unknown for a runner like Baeza just coming in to start number 6 here on Saturday afternoon. Certainly has plenty of upside.
That closing stretch for Baeza was so fun to watch. Like the whole Derby was fun, but like that closing stretch was absurd. And like you said, another long distance here could be pretty interesting to see what Baeza can do there. 4-1 in the morning line, running from the 6 hole there for Baeza for the Belmont Stakes. Now you've alluded to Rodriguez 6-1 in the morning line, Baeza 4-1, Crudo 15-1. Which horse do you think is going to give Journalism and Sovereignty the best run for their money this weekend, Dubs?
I think it's going to be Rodriguez, and I think that's the superfecta between these 4. Baeza is going to be there. Journalism will be knocking on the door. Sovereignty, but I do think the early speed could carry late on this track. So I think Rodriguez could be sneaky 3rd, 4th choice in the market. And you look at some of the other runners, and not to discount their chances, but Heart of Honor, the 8 at 30-1, really didn't see enough in the Preakness. I think this is a complete mismatch and making up the numbers. You look for Todd Pletcher. We've got Crudo coming into this one, likely going to battle Rodriguez on the front end. Could be a factor late. I don't think so. And then, the connections of Uncaged running it back after a 6th place in the Peter Pan. Is it a matter of just trying to, get out to Saratoga to enjoy the spoils of having a runner in the 3rd jewel? I think may be the case. So I think there's a couple of divisions amongst the field of 8. The top 4 pretty clear cut for me. So I think that's a great way to maybe attack Saturday afternoon. Look towards some tries, superfectas, but really try and support that strong opinion. I think there's levels to the class of these runners. Journalism, Sovereignty, they're in a league of their own. I think Rodriguez is certainly a runner that we haven't seen the best yet, especially coming off injury. And I think Baeza will be taking aim as they hit the lane and turn for home.
All righty. So a lot of good options here, Dubs, talking about the strength of Journalism and Sovereignty as it pertains to your trifectas and things like that, but also potentially interest in Rodriguez or Baeza. Now, if I give you one bet, Dubs, I say, okay, I'm letting you fire just one ticket. I know. I'm sorry. Being restrictive here. What would that be? We're looking at like a Rodriguez win ticket. Are we looking at a trifecta with Rodriguez in the mix? How would you want to play things if I gave you just one bet for this weekend?
It's Rodriguez. I'm always chasing a bit of upset. It's Bob Baffert. 10-year anniversary since American Pharaoh got it done in 2015. Bob is still looking for that big return. I thought we may have gotten it at the Derby there, but I think this is the horse to really, lift up 2025 there for the Hall of Fame trainer. And I'm just banking on a bit more improvement, and I think that could be enough going against a couple of tired runners in the 3rd jewel. Doesn't have to be the best horse of the bunch, but just has to be the best on race day. And I think there's a couple of green lights coming here for Rodriguez to get the win up on top.
All right. So Dubs is on Rodriguez 6-1 on the morning line, running from the 3 posts there on Saturday in the Belmont Stakes, but should be a fun one, whether it's Rodriguez getting the win or just that old school duel between Journalism and Sovereignty. It is going to be a lot of fun at Saratoga for this weekend. But of course, it's not just the Belmont Stakes taking place this weekend. We got some other races at Saratoga as well, Dubs. So you look at the other races coming up this weekend, any other horses you've eyed as being potential bet-ons for this weekend?
Yeah, there's going to be some great battles out there over the Friday and Saturday. It's stakes action galore. There's some really good wagering opportunities via the FanDuel Racing app. You can play a couple of special wagers across the 2 days, and there's a race on Friday afternoon. It's the Belmont Gold Cup, and There's a runner, Anglophile, who comes in for my fellow Aussie, the conditioner Brian Lynch, and has been well suited at the level, has the stamina. It's going to be a war of attrition. It's a long race, and it's a win and you're in towards the Melbourne Cup. Now, outside of the Kentucky Derby, especially for us Aussies, the Melbourne Cup is a big deal. Lynchy's been here a long time. What a way this would be for him to get back to Australia with a North American runner winning in the Belmont Gold Cup. So Anglophile is going to be the choice for me, sitting right around 5-1, I believe. So not going to go off there as the top threat, but certainly makes a lot of sense as one of the top three choices.
I know you're busy in November, Dubs, but are you going to get back there for the Melbourne Cup, or is that too far for you to get back home during that time of year?
If the boss is watching, would love to get back there, but no, that's the great thing of what we're doing, Jim. There's so much great action that you can watch and wager with what we're doing at FanDuel, both here in the States, internationally, whether it's the Triple Crown of racing, the slams in tennis, the majors in golf. We're getting ready for football, so excited for the back half of the year. Hopefully with a couple of winners and can build that bankroll.
Yeah, and that was Anglophile, the Dubs designing in the Belmont Gold Cup, about 5-1 on the morning line there. That is all that we have here for today and for this entire Triple Crown season. It's been a blast talking to all of you throughout this time here on Covering the Spread. Big thank you to Christina Blacker as well for joining us for both the Derby and the Preakness. Hopefully she is enjoying her vacation, a well-deserved vacation for this week. But Dubs, it was an awesome delight to get you back here on the show for today. Good luck to you with the Belmont Stakes. Enjoy the racing, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Jim. Always a pleasure. Let's cash.
All righty. And again, don't forget, we'll be talking some U.S. Open next week, which should be a lot of fun. We'll get Dubs that, as a way to kind of relax a bit post Triple Crown season as well, to sit back and watch some golf there as well. If you got any questions for me, I am on X and Blue Sky at Jim Sonis. You can find Dubs on X and Mr. Dubsy. Big thank you to our YouTube producers, Carolyn Brock and Justin Lane, for their work on the video side of things. Thank you, Carolyn and Justin, as always. Want to thank you all for tuning in. Good luck to you this weekend with the Belmont Stakes. We'll talk to you once again next week to get you set for the U.S. Open. This has been Covering the Spread, a FanDuel Research podcast.